This enchanted love of ours.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
This enchanted love of ours. This enchanted love of ours.
You know what? Global family, look in the mirror. I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you on this journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for, I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
It is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Person should find that truth out for his or herself.
To help you see.
For his or herself.
I got to the point where they were talking about Nikola Tesla. And then that's when it went into the weather wars with Dr. Blair. And then I also saw a quote from Nikola Tesla that said that basically numbers are alive. So when people speak about numerology, I wonder if they went into that portion of if that quote was even true, how numbers are alive, because they're basically symbols to be read.
Yes. Everything's a symbol. Even A, B, C, D. Our alphabet are symbols as well. Everything's symbols. In our introduction to our Manifestation Wednesdays podcast, I get into it. It's a bit of a win or something, Luke, so I muted you. But in our Manifestation Wednesdays podcast, there's an intro, and that intro deals with the power of syllables, which formulate words. Okay, and how powerful it is if one truly understands the meaning of each symbol. So then when they create words, the words actually have power. Like literally, like you will say something, like you will say, like for example, even biblically it says, if you have faith, you can say, if you have absolute faith, let's say you say the mountain move, it moves. Okay, but it goes deeper than that. It's not just the faith. No, it was what's past faith. It's knowing. So it starts off with belief. The next step from belief is faith. The next step of faith is actually knowing. Everything here in the realm there's an answer to. The Draconians would tell you there's not an answer. It would tell you just to have faith. There's an answer to literally every single thing that is happening around us. And I'm talking about like universally, whether it be a plant life, animal life, the origins of things. There's answers to everything. Doesn't mean I have that answer. Doesn't mean the person next door to you has that answer. But the answer is out there. Okay. And so with that, if one truly understood the meaning of the letters themselves, so they knew exactly when they put one letter to another, and can you remember, it's really the sound you're making with them. It's not really even letters, but it's the sound you're making with those letters, right? And truly understood how to make the sound. See, many of us are GMO to the point where even like, for example, I can ask people, how many of you have got your wisdom teeth removed? There's a few people who probably have, right? So you have been deficient for so long that you had to even get your wisdom teeth removed and stuff like that, right? That means your jaw did not grow enough to be able to handle what it naturally should be able to handle. Okay. So there are even certain sounds our ancestors, no matter if you are so-called white, whether you are so-called black, it doesn't matter. There are certain sounds that our ancestors used to make even with their mouth that we are 100% unable to make now. No matter how hard you try, you cannot make those sounds because your jaw, the strength of your jaw and how it formulates and vibrates is literally just not there at all. And so because of that, certain magical things, let's just say, people love the magical stuff, right? So the magical things that our ancestors were able to do, we have to retrain ourselves and reintroduce certain elements back into ourselves to eventually bring those type of attributes back. Okay. So even if you did truly understand what A means, what B means, right? And you create the perfect word or phrase that literally, if spoken correctly, could literally move a mountain. Many in these times literally may not be able to do it. Even though it's right there in front of them, they may not be able to do it because the ability to formulate your mouth, to contort your mouth, to be able to say the sound is currently unavailable due to genetic genetic manipulation. So yeah, it's deep though, right? It's still very interesting, still deep. And if someone has super interest in it, you should go deep into it and find out what you can. And who knows that those words that you may be able to formulate may be able to change humanity and give humanity strength to go further into the future. Music, I don't even know if that's even a name. I'm not going to try to pronounce your name, but this person said it here. Can we achieve with this music? Music is words. Even the tones, the vibrations, is no different than a word. You're understanding the music that is coming out my mouth right now, because we have a common link, which is the so-called English language, right? So you're understanding the English that's coming out my mouth, right? But on a deeper scale, what's coming out my mouth is actually tones and vibrations. You just can understand these tones and vibrations, which on your end, you hear me saying, for example, 1, 2, 3. You hear me saying 1, 2, 3, right? You hear me saying, reading your question. Can we achieve this with music? You could understand me actually reading that, but I'm not actually saying it. If you follow me here, right? You're understanding the literal vibrations. Okay. And to you hear what I read to you. To somebody else, they wouldn't understand it at all. You got that?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm online now. Can you hear me?
Can hear you. Yep.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Tamara.
Hey, how you feeling, Tamara?
I'm fine. Yeah, it was an interesting podcast. It was really helpful. Some of it, I'm not gonna lie, kind of frightened me. But yeah, I just thought about that because I also noticed that I'm not a musician, but this is just my opinion, but it seems like a lot of the singers these days sing more from their noses than from their throat or their lungs. And I wonder if that has something to do with the vibration of the music now that is more, to me, it's more on a low vibration level.
Wow, that's a very astute observation, Tamara. So yeah, you are true. And also they're singing less from the heart.
Yeah, like we don't have any Aretha Franklin's. Like I noticed like even, especially the men, they don't sing with testosterone. Like I don't really hear like a Teddy Pendergrass or Barry White as much. It just seems like there's, like you said, there's less depth to it. It's like almost like a hologram.
There it is. Did it make sense to you? What I mentioned, that how you're understanding what I'm saying, but it's only vibrations that are coming out my mouth.
Yeah, I think maybe, I don't know if I'm using the correct word, but would it be like a form of resonance?
Yeah. Yes. 100%. You're understanding it, but that's all it is tones and vibrations, or resonance that is happening. It's literally nothing more than that. And if you're able to create a certain type of tone or vibration or resonate a certain way, then you create other different types of conversations or other different types of feelings and stuff like that, right? So even the aspect of me expressing, right? Let's say I increased my tone, or let's say I sounded very angry, right? I'm saying the same exact words through sort of the words themselves have the same vibration, but now in increasing the voice louder or lower, now that comes off and changes, you can see the meaning of the vibration, tone, or resonance that's being spoken. right? So when one truly understands that, okay, then they could potentially manipulate their words, vibrations, tones, and the resonance that happens to change the environment. People do all the time. Of course, for example, politicians get up, right, all the time and lie to the people, right? We know this.
Yeah.
And they get up. Repeat that?
I was going to say preachers also.
yeah, preachers 100% do it as well, right? They get up and they're saying very specific scriptures, let's say, or the politicians saying very specific words, right, that people are resonating with, right? And again, the words are only vibrations. That's all they are. So they're spitting to you, or they're saying to you very specific vibrations with a very specific tone that then makes the situation, especially if it's a preacher, that's why the churches are filled with women. It makes the women open up emotionally, and even them start really maybe start crying and start jumping up and down, all type of stuff and everything else based on the vibrations, tones, and the depth of the vocal range that's being said to them from this piper, right?
Yeah. And I have another question, actually. This leads to this. If you play a certain type of vibration or frequency, is that also a way to indicate, like, I know this sounds weird, but like, have you ever played certain types of music and then certain people can't stand it? And sometimes it and this also applies to art as well and other things as well. And then that same person, for some reason, doesn't also happens to not like you. I wonder if those things are connected.
Everything's connected. If you like certain music, right, or you like certain tones and vibrations thrown at you, right, and that's what you really like, and this person does not like that, and you like those specific tones of vibration, that means those tones of vibrations potentially also emanate from you. So no, they wouldn't like you either.
Yeah. And I had a recent experience where I've had some experiences where, like, because I also do artwork, and like I noticed only certain people get it and some people don't. And people could say that, oh, the artist is not it's not connected to what they make, but a lot of times I've noticed that there's a connection there between the person understanding what they see and someone just not getting it.
Most certainly.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. All right, so let's see here. Cassandra said, Tony, is so-called Kundalini energy real, or is this new age? It's real. It is real for sure. What they call Kundalini energy, the rising of the energy up the vertebrae, which leads to your lower serpent brain, and then let's say breaking past that, which leads to what some would call enlightenment. Can enlightenment happen without doing any of that? Yeah, it can happen. Okay, but that's a practice to potentially bring it to be, right? So there are people who do it all the time and never reach it at all. There are people who haven't done any of that and have it. So it just depends. But it is a methodology on an ideology to bring a certain awareness, or what one could call potentially enlightenment. Miguel, I see you unmuted your phone. Miguel, did you have something you wanted to say?
Hey, Brother Tony, how you been?
I've been good. How you doing,
Mr.
brother?
Amen. It's been a long time since we spoke.
It has. Always good to hear your voice.
Yeah, likewise. And hello to all the listeners. It's good to be back and listening. I have been back. I've been listening for a while, but I haven't commented in a while. But some of the things you've been talking about have sparked my interest into saying something. I just had some comments, and I'll go backwards. And I just want to highlight some of the things you've said and some of the callers have said. And the young lady that was speaking right before me, she was talking about harmonies and tones, and more importantly, hertz, because that's how we measure the sounds, right? And some of the sounds that can be made to heal, because that's what a lot of the listeners here, your listeners, are healers. They can be brought through tuning forks, glass bowls, or what we call singing bowls, gongs, throat singing. For those who haven't ever heard of that, a lot of the Mongolians do throat singing, and it's similar to humming. A lot of times when we're in good moods, we like to hum, right? When we were children, our parents would hum songs to us to calm us, to heal us, because that's essentially what it's doing. It's harmonizing the two bodies. And that's what it is. The young lady that was speaking was talking about music that certain people like and certain people don't like. Is because they're not vibing to it, right? The vibration. And again, it's connecting back to what you were talking about in spelling or in words, right? Because casting a spell is words, because in our previous forms and past lives, we didn't use words. We would communicate with our minds. And, by us devolving in certain ways, we use language now vocally, and that's how they cast spells. And I know one of the examples, we've talked about it before, is good morning. Is there anything good about morning? A lot of people say there's not, because it's death. Morning, the same word, but means two different things, but does it? It's the same harmony, frequency, or heard, like you were just saying. And a lot of people talk about it. I know one of the people that talk about is Jordan Maxwell. For those who want to look him up as well, going along from him, because language is important, because how you speak can say a lot about you, right? A lot of your listeners are vegetarians or vegans and fast. It's important what comes in and also what comes out of your mouth. We have to be mindful of what we consume and what we put out, regurgitate. But, for those who want to know certain things, Jordan Maxwell is a good source. And I know something he always talks about is in the Black's Law Library book, he always talks about human, what human means. But in the Black's Law Dictionary, human means monster, and that's the exact definition, because those words mean something. Like you say, the people that control or lead think of us as monsters, people that are not even allowed to own land, because they don't even think of us as equal. And that connects to something that one of your other listeners were talking about. When one of her friends saw a reptilian, I know a lot of good ways to see if it's an other is by relaxing the eyes and looking into their eyes. A lot of times you can see people for who they are by looking into their eyes, directly into their third eye, looking past them. And by relaxing the eye, you can do some of those things. And that goes back to another comment that your listener was saying about meditation. What can she do to help meditate? And I've done some of your meditations, and they're great, and everybody should do them. And something she can do tonight is just sit down and try to be at ease or be at peace or be still as long as she can, and see how her body reacts and her mind reacts, because everybody goes through it. And it's funny because we all go through the same experiences. It's strange that way, but you have to control the monkey mind, the mind that just continues throwing things and giving ideas, and that's what they call the monkey mind. How do you settle that? How do you ease that? Because throughout all our sensory overload, from all the sounds, TV, music, people around us, being around other people and absorbing their vibrations and all the sounds around us, we have to calm down. We have to be at peace within. And like you said, always look within. Don't try to find your answer somewhere else, because you have the answer. You are the answer. Everything you need is within you. That leads back to one of your other listeners about detoxing. He was talking about sweat lodges, eating right, and drinking water. Some of the waters that we drink are void of minerals and cell salts. And some of these things are what we as what we are today need. Our cells need salts. We have 12 cell salts, and we should be consuming them. There's minerals that we should be consuming, and a lot of that was in water, but now is not. We have to be mindful to put them back in, consume it in other ways. A lot of the food we eat are void of minerals, vitamins, and nutrients that we should be having. Like you were saying earlier, is people that lived 50 to 100 years, their food was different because our food was rich in nutrients because that was what the ground was giving. Now it's not. Now it's 25, 20, 15% of the nutrients it used to give. Right? And then back to the detox, another method people can use, and everything, when somebody says something, it's not for everybody. So it's like a recipe. Some people like it, some people don't. And take my words with a grain of salt. And, something you can do as opposed to like going to a sweat lodge, you can do it in your shower. Put up the heat in the shower as hot as you can and burn sage. And that will be your own sweat lodge. I do it all the time. You can burn the white sage, cold stole, sweetgrass, whatever you want. Whatever your body craves, I think that's a good word. Because sometimes our bodies crave or want something, subconsciously is telling you, hey, give it to me because it knows best. And I remember when my sister was young, she used to eat dirt. And I remember making fun of her for eating dirt. But, later on in life, I realized that her body was lacking iron. And her body was craving it subconsciously to her. And consciously, she was eating the dirt. And that's just a little example. And then going back to the reptilian, and because people around us are not always what you think they are. And that's where that saying comes from, is sometimes we entertain angels or something else. Right? So be careful. Some are good, some are bad, just like us. Some are good, some are bad. So be mindful of that. And aside from all those comments, how you been, Tony? How is your meditation coming along? I know you've been growing in your meditation skills. And I'll leave with that question to you. Thank you, and have a great night.
All right, thank you for tuning in. It's good to hear your voice, brother. I hope everything is going cool out there in Cali. I know things are wild all over the place, and Cali is kind of like leading it,
Not always. Not in everything.
Yeah. That's what's up. It is paradise, though, for sure. I can't wait to go back. So, but I'm cool. I'm cool taking it day by day, doing what I do, and everything's the same for the most part, which is balanced. So I don't have any complaints one way or another. So, Tamara had mentioned, so I'm gonna read it here. She has said that, well, first off, Siobhan has said that she literally, because a lot of people on the show, if you didn't, some of you are new listeners here, but some of these people that you're hearing, like Miguel, have been literally, we used to be on Blog Talk Radio going back years ago, right? And he's back from way back then, as well as many other listeners here as well. And even we got a few who come on from time to time, and they were even from Blog Talk going back to 2012, right? So people know of people by even voice and everything else. So Siobhan said today that she was just thinking to herself, whatever happened to Miguel from Cali? And now you're here. That's the way it happens, right? But Tamara has said a lot of words that we use today, especially in slang, I noticed refer to violence. Like, I killed it. And I killed it means you did, like, you really did a good job on something, right? But why use it? There's millions of words you can use. You can even make up a word, but yet using very specific vibrations to mean something good when it's really using a bad vibration to do it. You get what I'm saying? So Or she said, like, you murdered that. You know what I'm saying? Also meaning you murdered that means that you did above and beyond what that is, right? Like many of you have heard on previous podcasts of me talking about the wretched, right? And also like those who call themselves witches, right? If you're really a positive witch, which many claim they are, then why don't you call yourself something else? Why do you have to call yourself a witch? Because it has a negative connotation. So if it has a negative connotation and there's millions of words you can use, why specifically use that unless you just don't want to, unless you really purposely want to use that, because it's really describing who you are. And if it has a negative connotation, then it really is showing that you really want to be ascribed to a negative thought form, right? So deep. So let's continue on.
This enchanted lullaby.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
This enchanted lullaby. This enchanted lullaby.
Know what? Global family, look in the mirror. I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you on this journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for, I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
It is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Person should find that truth out for his or herself.
To help you see.
For his or herself.